Monday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? Today is Monday, March the 1st. Happy March 1st. Another month. February both seem to take forever and fly, both at the same time. So very, very strange feeling. My name's Caroline. Welcome back to my channel. Channel mostly where I talk about cross stitch with some knitting and other various crafty pursuits. So yeah, March 1st. So a couple of things going on this month in the online stitching community. There is Stitch Asia, that is a wonderful month-long sort of celebration of Asian-inspired cross-stitch designs. And I know that AbiBellastitch is the sort of brain behind this month-long celebration. So you can check out her Instagram feed and her YouTube channel. That's AbiBellastitch, and I will link to her below in the comments. And I know there are lots of other floss tubers and cross stitchers participating in this celebration. I just saw a post. Ellen Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour just posted a pattern by Jacob Modern Folk Embroidery, and you all know how much I love Jacob's patterns. He has a Japanese symbol. Let me find it for you. Ellen just posted it this morning. It is the hiragana sampler by Jacob Modern Folk Embroidery. So let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? That's lovely. So for myself, I would love to get back to my sampler cove project. Many of you will remember Amtrak. It is another one of those really wonderful geometric designs, and I'm over halfway complete. I will try to find my most recent photo of it and put it in here. I haven't touched it since the last time I shared it, so there's no progress for me to show, but I will try to find a photo of it and plop it in right here. So sampler cove patterns were designed by a woman named Diane Jordan, who my understanding is that she is an American who was living in Thailand for many years, and in fact that's where she did her designing. And I believe, if I have the story correct, she retired and then eventually moved back to America and has retired from designing. But her charts are still available. You can still purchase her patterns, PDF copies of her patterns. So again, the one that I'm working on, it's called Amtrak. I know you can, there are lots of shops that carry Sampler Cove designs. I am partial to Claire, Claire at CelticHobbies.com, and I know that she carries Diane's charts. So last time I checked, I think that Amtrak was in stock at Claire's online shop. So yeah, so that's how I will be celebrating Stitch Asia. I would love to complete that in 2021. That would be that would be a really nice thing to see happen. No plans. No plans. There are also some other March events happening around. I don't really know much about them. I haven't had a lot of chance. I am way behind on watching Flosstube, so I know that Jen Lee, Quirks and Stitches, as well as I believe Steel City Stitchers. Now, Steel City Stitchers, they're not from Hamilton, are they? See, I think of Steel City as Hamilton, Ontario, because that's close to where I grew up, and it was a steel town. That's where the steel plants were. And So when I hear Steel City Stitchers, when I first heard of them, I assumed they were from Hamilton, but I don't believe they are. But again, way behind on Flosstube. I really need like, I need about a month to myself. No, people. You know, we're going on almost a year now where everybody's been home for a year, and there hasn't been a lot of alone time. So, but it's okay. No complaints. But I am behind on Flosstube. So I know there's some other March events happening. March Madness. So there's some kind of bingo thing happening where you just choose a number certain of projects, and anyways, I won't be participating in that. Excuse me. I'm this month. I have other things to focus on this month. So stitching is going to be, it's going to be tough to fit in a few stitches, but you know, I think we all need that little daily bit of time where it's just exhale, take a few stitches, and just thank your lucky stars that you have a hobby, a craft that allows you to just take a deep breath and be grateful. But the other thing happening for March, and it's only happening today, and it's only happening once for this whole year, is that I have decided to celebrate a high tea new start. So I did talk about this before, but in case you're new here and you haven't heard about high tea before, or you have no idea what it is that I'm talking about, a few years ago, I started, I decided that I had some things in my stash that I was sort of treating them like they were precious, too special to start. I was saving them for good. And, you know, I started to think about that, and I am not, I think it's clear, by any stretch of the imagination, a monogamous crafter. And I thought, why am I not enjoying these things that I have, that I've paid money for? I should enjoy them now while I have them, and why not start them? Start all the things. And so I decided that I would celebrate it. I would turn it into a little event, and just like, you know, going to a fancy hotel and having high tea where they serve you, you know, tea in a beautiful china teapot, and, you know, some fancy petit four, and, you know, sandwiches and little desserts on tiered trays, something very special and celebratory. And so it's something that you don't do very often, but when you do, you should enjoy it and whatnot. So that's why it's called high tea. It's celebrating something special from your stash. And you know, it doesn't have to be from your stash. If there's something that you've had your eye on, that you've just been dreaming of starting, and you must start it now, today's the day. So I had decided that for 2021, I was going to have 2 really big new starts. I love massive projects. They're my favorite. They're my favorite. I like the small things too, but the big ones really capture my heart. And so I decided that for 2021, I was going to have 2 new really big starts. The first one was my silk stitching app, Firlanda sampler, which I have a little bit of progress. It's on my floor frame downstairs. I don't think I've had an hour of time sitting in our living room downstairs over the last week. And so for that 1 hour that I think I was in that chair, I did put in, you know, a few stitches, but not enough to you know, take it off the frame and show you. But I am loving that. So it's going to remain on my floor frame downstairs, so that when I do have those odd moments, I would love to still, you know, keep enjoying that. The other big project, and I was going to start this on New Year's Day, but I didn't have the right fabric, and I hadn't made a final decision on what the floss that I wanted to use. So I waited. And so today's the day. Today is the day. And if the only thing that I get done today is getting my fabric cut and serged, and maybe the first X put in, that will be a success. So let me share what I am going to start today. So I decided that I would join in with Jacob Modern Folk Embroideries 2021 Stitch Along, and it is the Birds of Plenty. It is so beautiful, and so many people are stitching it, and so watching it come to life on Instagram and everybody else's, you know, social media feeds, in our Facebook group Friday Off the Grid, watching people stitch it. I had some fabric in my stash from Jukas, who is XJU Designs on Etsy, and she lives in Hungary, and her fabric is beautiful. Her fabric is really, really beautiful. And I had a piece of 28 count old linen that I had purchased from her website last year or the year before, and it just, the colors were so beautiful. I thought, and I was working with the Leo&Roxy blues, the set of blues, so I thought, I was looking at those blues on top of this fabric, and I thought, that's perfect, that's what I want to stitch it with. So I had Jukas dye a piece of 40 count linen for me, because this is such a large piece. I didn't want to do 28 count, because I would have had to have either done 2/2 or 1/1, and 2/2 I think I would end up with a piece that, for me at this point in my life, I'm looking for something, I don't know, I just didn't want it to be massive. And 1/1 on 28 count I like, in fact I love, and the more I watch Ymir, Almond MnMs, and a side note, if you're not following Ymir on Instagram or her YouTube channel, she has Almond MnMs, and again, I will link to her channel in the drop down box below. You really need to go and check out her. She has opened up a new shop. She is selling silk floss. Her colors are amazing. Her colors are beautiful. So silk floss, Almond MnMs. I'll link to both her YouTube, her Instagram, and her new shop. I'll link it in the drop down box below so that you can check it out. She is in the United States, and her colors are just gorgeous, just gorgeous. So it's because of Ymir that I tend to think about things a little bit differently when I'm thinking of stitching something that's really small, because Ymir is well known for stitching really tiny, like super tiny 1/1 on 56 count, and it's almost magical. It's almost magical looking at her stitching, because it is so fine and so beautiful. And of course, I think this is not the first time I've talked about, you know, my thoughts on how I was going to stitch this, and I think I did say 1/1 on 28 count before, and Ymir left me a comment. She said, go for it, 1/1 on 28 count, go for it, you can do it. And I know I could do it, but do I want to do it? I don't know. So I decided to play it safe. I'm super confident and comfortable with 40 count linen, and I love this color, and it's perfect with the blues. So I ordered a 40 count piece from Jukas. It arrived back in the end of January, I think, February 1st, end of January, and here it is. So this is my fabric. This is a 40 count. Again, once again, the colorway is called Old Linen, and it's almost got blue undertones in with the gray. And the two flosses that I chose are the Leo&Roxy, and I'm sorry, these are sold out. I don't have any more of these, but if you manage to snag some when I was selling the blues, you'll remember what these look like. But you know, that's the beauty with choosing these monochrome patterns. You can choose your favorite colors and just pick what you love and go to town. I have seen some amazing DMC, oh, what were those two colors? It was like a mauve and a paler mauve. Oh, who was stitching that with those two colors? I can't remember, but it was stunning. It was stunning. Anyway, so I've got Hey Sailor and Polar Ice. So I am doing the 2 color variation, clearly, with the Azizi. Azizi stitching is where you're stitching the background and the actual design, the motif work is left open, the fabric. So you see the fabric peeping through, you're basically stitching the background. And that's what Jacob has done with the 2 color version. And so you're stitching the background and then the design sort of shines through the stitching. And so my main color will be the darker blue, and then the polar ice will be well, clearly, I mean, I think you can see that, right? So those are my colors, and that's my fabric. And just in case you haven't seen, because it's one of those things where when you see it everywhere, you just assume that everyone in the whole wide world has seen and knows what you're talking about. Just in case you haven't seen it, I am going to pop in a photo of Jacob's entire piece here. Because it is March 1st, we just received the 3rd installment of the chart. It's not a mystery. We know what the whole design is going to look like. So it's called Fruits of Plenty. Did I call it Birds of Plenty before? I think it's called Fruits of Plenty. I'm going to put in, instead of showing a picture on my iPad, I'm actually going to edit in a photo of it so that you can see what it looks like, the entire design. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. So here it is. Right? I'm so excited to start this. So that is my high tea start for the year. That's my one special start that I'm starting this year. I always do a giveaway along with the high tea new start. And so the last giveaway that I had, because the last time I did high tea was October 1st, way back when in October. And I had this giveaway up on our Facebook group, the Friday Off the Grid Facebook group. And the special chart that I had up on offer was the Lila Studios Nevermore chart. Look at that. Look at that. Just beautiful, beautiful work. Such a gorgeous design. I love this design. So Lila, I have my own copy, and Lila sent me a copy for giveaway. And this was such a special chart that I thought, let's save it for a high tea giveaway. So today's the day. I chose the winner already this morning, and the winner was Marcia de Aguiar. So congratulations, Marcia. I have left you a comment on your comment already in the Facebook group, and so I'm hoping if you see this or you see my comment on Facebook that you will email me, caroline@evertote.com, and I will get this chart out in the mail to you, and I just know you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna love it. So we need a new giveaway because it's high tea. We need a new giveaway. So today's giveaway, and this giveaway is going to happen on my Instagram page. So I try to alternate the giveaways because not everybody wants to be on Facebook, not everybody wants to be on Instagram, and not everybody can leave comments on the YouTube channels. I haven't done a giveaway on my Instagram page in quite a while, so I think it's time that I pop one over there. I have 2 Instagram accounts. One that's more of my personal stuff, and at the moment my personal stuff is kind of blending in with my work stuff because I'm starting to sell floss. Everything that I'm stitching now, I'm starting to use the Leo&Roxy floss, and it's kind of tricky because I don't want to feel like I'm necessarily advertising on my personal page, but that's the floss that I'm using. So you know, it's one of those tricky things. But anyways, my more personal page is @OffTheGrid Needlearts, and my business page where I show project bags that I'm currently making or the new floss that's coming out, that page is called @Evertotes, and there will be links in the drop down box below if you'd like to follow me over there. And so the giveaway for this high tea is going to be a Keslin's design chart. I have loved this chart for a long time. This chart, it's perfect. Okay, so it's Keslin's design, and it's called My Day Complete. And I just think it's absolutely perfect. So the saying is, I cannot count my day complete till needle and thread and fabric meet. And so this will be the chart. And then I am going to include a set of the new Leo&Roxy purples. So a set of all 5 will be included in with the giveaway. So again, this giveaway will be up on my Instagram page at Evertotes. I'll pop it up on there later today. And just leave me a comment. Just leave me a comment. I might add something in there, like tag a friend or something to get an extra entry. You know, do you know what I mean? Like I do giveaways on Instagram so rarely. I have to make sure that I'm following the rules. But I think you can do that, where if you tag someone who you think might be interested in seeing it, then you can have an extra comment. I think that makes sense, yeah? So, and you know, all the usual malarkey, be following my page and so on and so forth. And it's not sponsored by Instagram. Okay, so Keslin's My Day Complete and a set of 5 my Leo&Roxy flosses. That's the giveaway for high tea. Now, because I'm only doing 1 high tea this year, I'm not gonna make you wait a whole year to find out who's going to win this, this design. So let's make this like a month. So I will pull a winner in a month. I think that's more than enough time. I think that's ample time for everyone to see this and celebrate and enter. So 1 month from today, or April 1st, something like that. I have one more giveaway, well, 2 more giveaways really to talk about and take care of. The first one is the Because Monday giveaway from last week. This also happens over on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. So again, come and join us over there. This Friday Off the Grid is a stitching, cross stitch only. Well, actually, that's kind of a fib. There are many of us on the Friday Off the Grid group who are multi-craftual, and that is encouraged. If you are working on a blanket, crochet afghan, if you're knitting a sweater, if you're knitting a scarf, and that's what you're doing on Friday night, and you'd like to share a picture of that along with your stitching, always welcome. But 95% of our content is cross stitching. And what else? Oh, and for the last year, we have had weekly baby updates on baby Kai, who has, his grandma is a member of our group. Kai was born very prematurely, and we have watched him grow and just bloom over the last year. And it's been a highlight of my Friday, seeing Kai's update photo and his face every week in my Friday feed. So that's Friday Off the Grid, and the premise is that we have kind of a casual stitching party on Friday night. It's not a group thing. It's an individual. Post a photo of what you're going to be working on Friday night, starting point and ending point, if you remember, or post your ending on Saturday or Sunday or whenever. There's usually somebody partying in the group or stitching, and we try to aim for, you know, 6 hours of progress on Friday nights. I can't remember the last time I actually got 6 hours of progress on a Friday night, but that's the dream. That's the dream. But anyways, every Monday I do a giveaway over there, and I just call it Because Monday. So because it's Monday and we could just use a little bit of something positive to start our week, I do a little giveaway. So last week's giveaway was a chart from Widgets and Wool Primitives. It's called A Princess Lives Here. And what I pointed out last week on this chart was I really liked the fabric that the designer called for. It's from Fabric Flair. And I just noticed Shiloh, X-Stitch MD, out in Nova Scotia, fellow Canadian Shiloh, she has a giveaway up at the moment, I believe, for Fabric Flair. So I'm going to have to check her video out later and possibly enter my name, put my name in the hat for that. Fabric Flair is really fun. It's a fabric, I believe, that is printed on the one side. It's, instead of dyed, it's printed. And so this sort of stripe pattern is printed on the front, and you can stitch that. So it's called Pink Parisian Stripe Linen by Fabric Flair. And okay, so the winner was Rose Heck. So congratulations, Rose. I know you very well, and I was glad that your name came up to win the chart, and I have your address, so I will pop this in the mail out to you. And I have a new fun chart for giveaway up today. Now this one's this is just a cheeky fun chart. So this is just for fun. So this is by Pickle Barrel Designs, and it's called Update Your Status. So this is a very tongue-in-cheek design that says, may your life someday be as awesome as you pretend it is on Facebook. So it's only fitting that I give this chart away on Facebook. There you go. So that's the chart up for grabs today. Again, I will have those photos up. The high tea giveaway will be up on Instagram later today, and the Because Monday will be up on Facebook later today as well. Okay. Whew. Shall we get to some stitching? I worked on, I did work on Miss Patty's cowl. I've completed the first ball. Remember, I was I was striping in the end of the first ball into the second ball. I've finished that. I completely finished the first ball. There's a lot more yarn at the end of those little cakes than you think, and so I was lucky that I could really alternate those rows with the old yarn and the new yarn. So it, excuse me, it blended in quite nicely. So I'm well into the second ball. I don't know, I'm not quite 3/4 finished, but it's downstairs. So I'll show you that I'll show you on Friday. I'm hoping to be done it soon. I think 2 weeks was optimistic. Okay, so a little bit of stitching time that I had. I focused on my modern folk embroideries, mainly because I wanted to work on my Jeanette Douglas Blooming Bouquet. There are a lot of color changes in it, and it's not one of those projects that you can pick up and stitch for 10 minutes. And that's kind of what I'm dealing with time-wise at the moment. I literally will have like 5 minutes. So I'll sit down and put in a few stitches, and then maybe a couple hours later I'll have another 10 minutes where I can sort of take a breath. So that's kind of what my timing is like at the moment, and it's probably for the next 5 or 6 weeks is going to be what my schedule is like. It's going to be a very busy month, and so I really needed crafting that was easy, really easy, and just not a lot of thinking involved. Like if I needed to count, then I didn't want to have to change thread all the time. So monochrome fills the bill. It fits the ticket, and so Jacob to the rescue. I have been working on 2 modern folk embroidery pieces. This is the Distelfink heart, a good luck charm, and this is such a beautiful chart. I love this chart so much. Jacob's is done in 1 color. I have decided to do mine in 2. And so I have completed the inner, I did this border on Friday night, this outer border on Friday night. And then just this morning with my coffee, I started the next batch of the border here. I'm using 2 colors. The middle color is Leo&Roxy Wisteria, and the lighter purple variegated, they're all variegated. The lighter purple is a little bit more variegated. That's called Iris, and I love this effect. It looks like a little bit of lace in there, which I wasn't expecting it to look like that, and it's so pretty. I'm really, really happy with it. And I think what I'm going to do is do you see this little motif in the center here? This is this happens all around this border, and in the middle of that square there's a cross, and I think I'm going to do that cross in iris. So those 4 stitches inside the middle of every square around the border will be done in the lighter color, so that I can pull that little bit of lighter color into this round of the border. This is a 32 count dirty linen. I don't know the manufacturer of that. I just know it as 32 count dirty linen. It was from my stash. That was all the information that was on it. And this is a Kay's Creations lap frame. And I really like them. I use them all the time. So yeah, it's coming along. Love it. And the other, this is so cute. I can't get over how cute. So remember I said that small pieces really weren't my jam? Well, this makes me a liar, because I'm so in love with this little piece. It's so cute. It is so cute. So this is the Quaker Medallion bird on a grapevine. I love this so much. It is so cute. It is so, so cute. And so I have completed the stitching. I've completed all the stitching in the middle. So the bird, the grapevine, I made so many mistakes. I made so many mistakes on this. I can't even tell you. Because, well, just because I made so many mistakes. There were four times when I realized I was completely off in the wrong place and had to frog back and restitch. I didn't care. I didn't care. And I remember I said I was looking for easy, mindless stitching. Well, what was easy and mindless about this was that it was one color. It was one thread. I used the Leo&Roxy My Funny Valentine. And so I think the variegation, that's what it looks like on the card. And that's what it looks like stitched up. And so I finished the middle section, and I've just started the first part of the border. This is a 36 count. This is a scrap. It was a Silkweaver remnant from a pack that we got at the New Jersey Flosstube retreat. So I know it's a 36 count. I think it's called Silver Moon. I think so. I'm not 100%, but I really, really like this fabric. It's really pretty. And so 36 count, and I'm using 2 strands of floss over 2. And I am really hopeful that I can complete the whole design with 1 skein of floss, and it's 8 yards, approximately 8 yards that I have. If I was doing it on a 32 count, I would think that I might be a little bit short of floss and maybe need 2 skeins. But I think I can get away with 1 skein. I'm not sure yet. Might get tight, but isn't it pretty? That's so pretty. So I did talk about this a little bit last week, which is why I'm stitching it. So I think it was last Monday or Friday. I can't remember, but I know I talked about it last week. People will ask, why are you stitching it backwards? So those kinds of things where I know that people are going to wonder, because, you know, like me, you probably are behind on Flosstube, or you're new to Flosstube, and you've got all these questions that if I don't say and you're wondering, and then, you know, you might ask, or I'll feel like I let you down because I didn't tell you why. I think I have an old blog, offthegridneedlearts.com. It's not very user-friendly for me to, it's a WordPress blog, and I'm a bit of a neophyte when it comes to technology. I know exactly what I need to know in order to do exactly what I need to do. And that's it. And trying to learn something new sends me into a bit of a flap. And so that's why I really kind of have just let the blog languish. But I think that in my shop, I think there's a section where I can add blog posts, which if that's the case, it would make it all in one, like everything would be in one place, because I'm already doing work in there. I could maybe figure out how to add some posts in there. So I'm thinking what I might do is do some blog posts on things that I find myself talking about often, you know, questions that people have that are things that I maybe talk about often. And then I might just link to those blog posts, you know, like a frequently asked questions section. I could just link to it in the drop down box below. So that way, if there's any questions that you have about anything that I'm talking about or saying, that maybe it would just be a resource, a really good resource for anyone out there who's new and maybe had some questions. And we can, you know, I'm also willing to, if you have a bunch of questions that you haven't so far been able to find the answer for, ask away. Maybe we can, you know, put something together. Maybe I can put something together and we'll see. But anyways, that would give me one place to put everything instead of it being kind of all over the place, which would be easy. So long story long, short, I'll try to be short. Why it's backwards is because I stitch this, it's called stitching in the ditch or stitching in the well, where the fabric is on the inside and the back of the fabric is flush mounted against the back of the hoop or the Q-snap or the frame. And for two reasons. First reason is it keeps the the right side of your fabric cleaner, because you're not handling it as much. When I stitch, I do tend to fold in the back side of the fabric. So if I'm holding it like that. Or on a Q-snap, you're using a grime guard. But even more than that is because I do wash my hands before I stitch every time. So generally I'm stitching with clean hands anyways. I'm not usually worried about my fabric getting dirty. But the number one reason is that it's so much easier to thread your, to start your floss, get your needle in there at the back, especially with these smaller hoops. You can just imagine this design is, you know, it works up pretty close to the sides of my hoop. Well, I don't have enough fabric to move it around a bunch of times. But if I've got my back of my fabric like this, I don't need to move it at all. I can start and stop my threads. It's another thing to mention, starting and stopping threads, how to keep your back sides neat, things like that. I use something called a Bargello tuck to start and stop my threads, which is where basically I bring my needle underneath 4 or 5 stitches with a new length of floss, close to, so for example, I'm going to be starting up here. So I would thread my needle and I would bring my needle under 4 stitches, 3 or 4 stitches here, and then I would pull that thread through until the end, the tail end was tucked underneath those stitches, completely buried. And then I would take my needle and I would do one more little scoop of a stitch to anchor it close to where I'm going to start my stitching. And then it keeps the thread, this is the back of my work, keeps that thread neat and tidy. I also don't carry my threads. I will stop and start them if it's greater than 1 stitch away. I will carry 1 stitch. But if it's more than 1 stitch away and I still have lots of floss on, I will turn my work over and I will bury my thread. I will sew my needle. So say for example, I stitched all the way out to here and I needed to come back down to here to continue down here. I would sew my needle down 4 or 5 stitches here and pull the floss down through here and then bring my needle back up on the other side right here. So that effectively I would be guiding my thread back around so that it's hidden from the front. Because what can happen, especially with these lighter colored fabrics, if you're, let's say I was stitching the bird and I still had lots of floss and I was going to jump over here and stitch the grapevine, the grapes. This is a really dark thread. And if I carry that floss from the bird over to the grapes on the back of my fabric, and this is a really light colored fabric, chances are really high that you're gonna see the floss on the back through. See, here's a dark blue pen. See how you can see it through the fabric? Well, you're gonna see that thread carried from here to here. So that's why you wanna end your thread and you wanna start a new thread in the next section. Keeps things neat and tidy. Yeah, so I think that's all I had to say about that. Again, any questions, leave me a comment in the drop down box. Not in the drop down box, in the comment section below. And that's it. I think that's all I had for today, other than a little bit of personal stuff. So I had, and this seems a little silly to talk about, so that's why I'm talking about it at the end of the video today, in case you've lost interest in anything I had to say. We're long gone anyways. But I mentioned on Friday that I have a hair appointment on Wednesday, and that I'm going to probably have my hair colored again. And it's been about 1.5 years since the last time I went to see my hairdresser. My hairdresser has a salon in her basement, so she is you know, and I'm going with Sarah, so we'll just be the two of us there with her, and so, you know, COVID protocols, we'll be wearing masks and things like that, so I feel very safe and secure going. But I had a lot of people message me or leave comments about the fact that I was going to color my hair, and, you know, letting me know that they really liked my hair, the color that it is, and that I shouldn't dye it. And so I feel like I just needed to explain a little bit, because I agree with you. It's not that I disagree. I love gray hair. I think gray hair is beautiful, and I am proud that I have gray hair. You know, I've earned it. I've earned it. But I also think that there's, and the reason I'm saying this is not because I was offended or upset or anything like that, that people were saying this to me, that, you know, you shouldn't dye your hair. Don't dye your hair. You should just keep it the way it is. It's beautiful the way it is. Because I feel like I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying your gray hair isn't beautiful and you should dye your hair, because that is not at all why I feel like I want to dye my hair. I also feel that if a woman wants to dye her hair, she should feel like she can dye her hair, just because it's fun and it's hair. And, you know, if you can afford it and it makes you feel good, then I think that that's a perfectly acceptable reason to dye your hair, you know, have at it. But for me, it's actually, this is really hard to talk about. And I know this seems really silly because it's hair, but for me, it is so much more than hair. And so just a little peek into the inside of my thinking here. My hair is a big deal to me. And I think, like most people, their hair, you know, it's a big part of your identity. And, I'm 46 years old, and over the past 10 years, I've lost a lot of hair, like a lot of hair, and the cause of that hair loss has been some surgeries that I've had in my past. And so for me, the gray stripes that have grown back in, or all of the gray sparkle that's at the top, that's all regrowth from loss of hair. And so when I look in the mirror and I see, first of all, it's like, you know, when you know how many times you're in the bathroom and you're looking in the mirror, it's a constant reminder to me of those times that I lost so much hair and the reasons why I lost all of that hair. So it's a little memory of a miscarriage and subsequent surgery, a knee surgery, a breast cancer scare where I had a lumpectomy, which was, you know, thankfully benign. you know, coming up to my gallbladder surgery. And there are at least 3 or 4 other small surgery procedures in there that I had. Those are the big ones in my past that, yes, I know this is personal information, but I feel comfortable sharing what I'm sharing. Those were big events, big lifetime, you know, scary, awful events. And my hair loss was a direct correlation to those events. And so, you know, when I see curls that are, you know, basically a fraction, curls that are completely gone, curls that, you know, aren't, you know, that are like 2 or 3 hairs now where they used to be massive, and, you know, being reminded of being in the shower and losing 3 curls worth of hair every time I took a shower, and that hair growing back in a completely different color than when I had it before. It's a little reminder, and I've tried to be okay with it. I've tried to be okay with embracing the gray and embracing that this is my new reality, and I am, for the most part, I'm okay. But I also just want to have a little bit of a, oh, it's something different, and doesn't it look nice, just because it's fun and it's a little bit different. Because there's also that little bit of when you're reminded of those stripes, and I know I'm not going to completely get rid of them, they'll still be there, but what's going to happen in the future, my future, what other surgeries am I going to need in the future, and maybe I'll lose more hair. How much more hair am I going to lose? Those are the kinds of things that cycle through my mind when I look in the mirror. So when I talk about going to the hairdresser and having it cut and colored and styled, there's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of baggage there that goes in with that. And so while I appreciate so much your kindness in saying that you think it looks really nice the way that it is, I so appreciate that. But for me, this is just, it's just something that, and if I hate it, I'll let it grow out. Maybe it'll fall out. That wasn't funny, was it? It was a little funny, a little funny. Anyway, that's it for me today. You got more than you needed to know about me and my hair and all of the silly reasons why I am looking forward to going to the salon and seeing my hairdresser. I'm also looking forward to spending a couple of hours with my daughter. I think that's going to be fun. Just the 2 of us, so that'll be nice. All right, so that's it for me today. I will see you again on Friday. I do have some more stories to share with you. That I have even more coming in to my email to share with you. So I look forward to that. So until then, until Friday, I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, and that you have some crafting to keep your mind occupied and your fingers moving and your heart happy. And I'll see you on Friday. So take care, everybody. Until then, happy stitching.